Now, look, over to the positive news that we heard from the Health Minister, Greg Hunt, today. He said that a vaccine for COVID-19 could be ready next year. He's close to doing a deal with Oxford. Richard, you know, until we get a vaccine, we're not going to be able to get back on our feet properly, open up the economy properly. Do you think when there is a vaccine that it should be mandatory for all Australians?
I think that will run into huge problems. I mean, I personally think it would be, but I could imagine that I mean, you know exactly the kind of people, Shari, that would come out and sort of say, you know, don't vaccinate me, don't vaccinate my kids, etc. And there is a case of free will. For example, when they brought out the COVID Safe app, which, you know, the Prime Minister said was the great tool to, you know, making sure that there weren't outbreaks, although that doesn't look as good now, but he had to walk back any suggestion that would be mandatory. But I would imagine I don't think of anyone that I know that wouldn't want that vaccine. Gosh knows I would want it, and you know, hopefully most people will just want to take it up because it will save them from coronavirus. But I think any attempt to make it mandatory will run into a lot of problems.
Yeah. Well, I learned when I had a baby that there are quite a lot of people that you don't even realise who object to vaccines when you ask all your family to get the whooping cough vaccine, and suddenly there are vaccine objectors you didn't even know about. Aaron, but without, you know, the majority of the population, and vaccine rates, you know, we've just learned are quite high for kids. They're up around the 96% mark. You know, without making it compulsory, this isn't really going to work though, is it?
Well, I think in eastern suburbs of Sydney, you've got about 10% of the population refuse to vaccinate their children. So there is a really, and I'm sure, as you said, that'll be much higher for adults in terms of a COVID-19 vaccine. And you've also probably got some young people under 60 who have a very, very small chance of dying if they get COVID-19, less likely to vaccinate themselves, just purely because they don't see the need for it. Look, I'm strongly for getting vaccinated and incredibly strongly against making it mandatory, because I believe government shouldn't coerce people to do something. We're much better off using persuasion, and that's the best way to do it.